I'm Lorraine Horn, and I'm the widow of Pastor William M. Horn. Bill and I were married in June 1969. Following Bill's graduation and ordination in 1970, he was called to Zion Minersville. We moved our few possessions into a spacious 4-bedroom parsonage across from the church. He enjoyed teaching confirmation classes there, but he may be the only pastor to have had his confirmation class raided by the police for drugs. Another time, at a rehearsal for confirmation, another class member set off a cherry bomb in the church. We did have some very enjoyable times with the young folks, however. Bill and I helped to lead the youth group, even chaperoning overnight camping trips. When I entertained, youth group members would come to the parsonage to help prepare and serve food. For several years, Bill and I and the late Pastor Elmer Ike organized and fed volunteers for an annual blood drive at Zion. Bill was very active in getting the pastors and priests of the 17 churches in Minersville to meet and plan services and celebrations. They often met at our house. When our first child was born, numerous clergy visited me in the hospital, causing one of the nurses to ask, "Which one is your husband?" In April of 1976, 6 weeks after the birth of our third child, we moved to the parsonage of St. John's, St. John's. We felt right at home there since there were numerous young couples with small children. Bill especially enjoyed visiting the elderly shut-ins, teaching confirmation, and working with the youth group. With his encouragement, the outreach committee began visiting newcomers to the valley, which resulted in several new members. About 2 years into his ministry there, our 5-year-old son became critically ill on Easter Sunday morning while Bill was leading the early service. Sadly, Christian died 24 hours later from meningitis. Those were dark days for us, but God provided love and support from parishioners and our families. Even now, the woman who was Christian's Sunday school teacher remembers us each year with a card and note at Easter. About a year after Christian's death, our daughter Sarah arrived. Around that same time, Bill completed his coursework at Marywood College in Scranton and was awarded a master's degree in counseling. Since I was alone in the audience with 3 small children, we missed seeing Bill receive the diploma because someone needed to use the bathroom. When Sarah was 6 months old, Bill was presented with an opportunity to fulfill a lifelong dream of his. He was accepted as a resident in a clinical training program at Byberry State Hospital in Philadelphia. For 6 weeks, I remained in the parsonage with 3 children under the age of 4 without a car while Bill began his training. Thankfully, there were many kind folks in the rural congregation who provided transportation when we needed it. We eventually found a 2-bedroom duplex apartment, put many of our possessions into storage, and made the move to Northeast Philly. The 10 months we spent there proved to be trying ones. Funding for the chaplaincy training program at the state hospital had never been approved by the legislature, so for 3 months there was no paycheck coming in. Needless to say, we were elated when Bill completed his residency and was endorsed for specialized pastoral care. As a result, he was hired as the first full-time chaplain at Good Shepherd Home and Rehabilitation Hospital in Allentown, and so we moved again. This time, we purchased a very small row home on the south side of Allentown. Chaplaincy was what Bill had dreamed of doing since I first met him. He was a perfect fit for the job, a good listener, spiritually grounded, caring, and compassionate. He was totally committed to the residents and patients and their needs. During one blinding blizzard, he walked about 2.5 miles in order to provide Sunday services for the residents. He later admitted to me that he was almost hit by a snowplow on the way. For the next 29.5 years, he ministered to the residents, patients, and staff with humility, wisdom, and his signature sense of humor. His annual Halloween costumes are still fondly remembered, especially the 6'2" chicken. In addition to advocating for the disabled, he coordinated confirmation workshops at Good Shepherd for 27 years in order to help young people develop an understanding of what it means to be differently able. He also supported efforts to broaden public support for the Latino community and for those with mental health issues. He was active in ecumenical activities with other Southside Allentown clergy. Bill's ministry continued after his retirement when he served as interim pastor at Zion Northampton and as consultant to the Northampton congregations as they considered their future. Despite his busy schedule, Bill always found time for his family. Our children, grandchildren, and I were truly blessed to have this kind, loving, soft-spoken man of God as a husband, father, and Bubba.